Hi, in Paul Akers' brilliant book, 2 Second Lean, he encourages us to learn to see waste, not just through an acronym, but through a story. My last video, I used the example of making a salad for a party to explain the 8 manufacturing wastes. But many of us don't work in manufacturing. We work in offices, in service businesses, in agencies, and in businesses where we don't produce a physical product, but we produce conversations, decisions, information, support, and service. So what does waste look like in our world? Over the years, in our business, we have spent time looking at the difference between value add, non-value added, and pure waste. And from that, we developed our own 8 waste categories for non-manufacturing or the office world. So, to make it visual and a bit of fun, let's look at them through Paul Akers' suggestion of a lens of storytelling for a host at a dinner party. What could possibly go wrong? First, ambiguity. We've invited people for dinner. Great. How many people are coming? What time are they arriving? Who's bringing what? Are there any vegetarians? Is this a formal dinner, a buffet style? Or just help yourself? Nobody's quite sure. One person starts making a curry. Someone else thinks about a barbecue. Another's brought crisps and dips and thinks that's their contribution done. Everyone is doing something, but not necessarily the right thing. That is ambiguity. In the office life, ambiguity is when the outcome is unclear, the brief is vague, responsibilities are fuzzy, or people leave the meeting thinking different things. Something gets done, and the person requesting that says, no, that's wrong. When work is not clear, people guess, and guessing creates waste of ambiguity. Next, stopping flow. The vegetables are chopped, but the pan is still in the dishwasher. The main course is ready to go into the oven, but somebody is using it to warm plates. The guests are seated, but the table's not fully laid. Everything keeps stopping and starting. The flow isn't just about the work moving through a process. It's also about the flow of doing my work. In the dinner party, it's like trying to cook the main course while the guests keep wandering into the kitchen and asking where to put their coats. What time is that dessert? Where can I get more ice? And if anyone can see their phone charger. And it's this exact thing that happens in offices too. A piece of work gets started, then waits for approval, or waits for some missing figure, or tasks move forwards and stop because someone's on holiday or too busy to respond. Nothing flows. But what's also seen, as we said, is the flow of me doing my own work. In the office, I sit down to do something important. Something needs real focus, and then the phone rings. An email pops up, a Slack message appears, and someone says, oh, have you just got 2 minutes? And then my manager calls an impromptu meeting. And suddenly that work that needed proper thinking has been chopped into little bits. Each interruption feels small, but together they destroy flow. Third, not challenging and learning. Every time the host throws a dinner party, the same thing happens. Too much stress, too much rushing, too much last-minute panic. The oven is overloaded, the starter is late, the host is trying to cook and answer the door and find the serving spoon all at the same time. And when it's all over, everyone says, wow, that was a bit stressful. But nobody asks, what did we learn? Maybe the menu's too complicated. Maybe there's too much left until the last minute. Maybe the shopping list should have been done earlier. Maybe there's a better way to get the food from the kitchen to the table. But instead, next time we just do the same thing. Same panic, same rushing, same lessons, not learning. In the manufacturing 8 ways, this links closely to wasted human potential. But in the office world, we want to make it more specific because so much office waste is hidden. It hides in inboxes, spreadsheets, meetings, systems, and in people's heads. So we tolerate slow systems, clunky processes, repeated questions, and awkward handovers. It's a bit like that dinner party host saying, the kitchen is always in chaos. That's just how dinner parties are done here. But is it? Or if we just stop challenging and learning? What are other people doing? What tools are available? Could AI help us plan better, work faster, and improve the experience? If we're not exploring and experimenting, we may be falling behind without realizing it. Fix what bugs you, because between knowledge and understanding is doing. So, go find out. Fourth is underutilization of technology. Our host has a smartphone, timers, recipe apps, and shopping apps, voice assistants, and shared lists. But instead, the shopping list is written on the back of an envelope. The recipe is buried on pieces of paper somewhere. No timer's set, the garlic bread is getting cremated. That is not because the host lacks effort, it's because the use of technology is sitting there unused. In the office life, this happens all the time. Teams ignore shared task boards. People retype information that already exists. Meetings are scheduled manually. Simple automation is never set up. AI tools are ignored. And sometimes the technology is not even new. Take Excel. How much of Excel do you really use? 10% maybe? And yet it's far more capable than any people realise. The same is true for many of the tools that already sit inside our businesses. The answer is not always that we need more software. Sometimes the waste is that we have not learned how to use what we already have. Technology does not need to be fancy. It just needs to make the work easier. Fifth is defects. This one is very much the same as production 8 wastes. A defect is still a defect. In the dinner party, the potatoes are uncooked. The dessert has salt instead of sugar. The vegetarian guest is handed something that clearly isn't vegetarian. Now the host has to apologise, fix it, remake something, and somehow recover the moment. This is a defect. Whether it's a faulty product on a production line or the wrong information sent to a client, the impact is the same. Something was not right first time, and now somebody has to recover it. In service and office business, defects are mistakes that create rework or disappointment. Wrong figures in a report, an invoice sent in error, a proposal with the wrong client's name, missing information, poor quality work that has to be recreated. A defect is never just a mistake. It's the time, trust and energy and the interruption that came with putting it all right. Now the sixth is overprocessing. And again, this one is very much like the production 8 wastes. It is doing more work than the customer actually needs or values. The guests are coming around for the dinner party, but the host has spent 40 minutes folding napkins into swans, made handwritten place cards in 3 colours, polished every wine glass twice, and arranged the parsley on each plate like they are Michelin star restaurants. It looks impressive, but has it really added meaningful value to the conversation? The tricky thing in an office is that over-processing can look like being thoughtful, professional, or helpful, and sometimes it is, but sometimes it's simply extra effort that does not improve the outcome. In the office, this might be a 30-page document when a 3-page one would do. 5 approval steps instead of 1. Over-designed slides, too much analysis, too much formatting, I know you do that, and too much fuss. The key question is not, can we do more? It is, does this extra effort create extra value? The 7th waste, difficult to find something. Where's the corkscrew? Where's the serving spoon? Where's the recipes? Where's the good plates? Where on earth is that paprika? Now, 3 people are opening doors, searching cupboards, wandering around the kitchen looking things that should have been obvious. And again, this is exactly what happens in offices. People search for files, for passwords, for the latest document, for clip notes, for templates, for the one bit of information someone swears is in that folder somewhere. Searching feels small, but when it adds up day after day, every day, it quietly drains hours. And finally, the last waste, being difficult to do business with. The guests arrive, but it's nowhere obvious to park. The front doorbell does not work. Nobody told them what time food would be served. One guest has a dietary requirement that was never asked about. Another does not know where to put their coat. The dinner may still be lovely, but the experience has been made a lot harder than it needs to be. This is one of the biggest wastes in the service business. Overcomplicated forms, slow replies, unclear pricing, confusing onboarding, chasing of updates, making the customer do more work than they should have to. One of the reasons why this happens is that we often design our outcomes and services around ourselves. What are our systems, our preferences, our internal processes, our convenience, our way of thinking? But the client experiences the business from the outside in. So the better question is not, does this work for us? The better question is, what is this like for our client? It is time to put ourselves in their shoes, not our systems, their experience. When we design from our point of view, we create friction. When we design from the client's point of view, we create value. Being easy to do business with is not a nice extra. It's real value. So there you have it. Our 8 wastes of the non-manufacturing office world: ambiguity, stopping flow, not challenging and learning, underutilization of technology, defects, overprocessing, difficult to find something, being difficult to do business with. The dinner party might be a bit of fun, but the message is serious. Waste is everywhere if you learn to see it. And once we can see it, we can start to reduce it. So, here's the challenge. Look around your own business. What bugs you? Where is the work harder than it should be? Where do things stop, get lost, get repeated, or frustrate the customer more? Pick one thing, make it visual, improve it, then just do it and find out. Cheers!